Hello, good evening everyone. Today's webinar topic is Essential Safeguards for Modern Investor. Stay ahead of cyber criminals. So for this, we have with us Mr. Narayan Nilkantan, co-founder and CEO at Triflo Technologies and Block Armor. Sir is an accomplished entrepreneur and thought leader known for his dynamic and visionary approach. With over 25 years of ground up success in information security and IT, he has consistently shown a passion for innovation and a strong track record in building and implementing frameworks that protect information and deliver business value. He has the ability to take up challenging roles, establish and scale startups, and build high performance teams. Has played a key role in developing innovative products and solutions using cutting edge technologies. He is skilled at turning strategic objectives into real outcomes through effective planning, monitoring, and control. Experienced in managing large complex projects and critical operations, also known for his integrity, strong work ethic, and drive to achieve excellence. Now, a glimpse about NISM. NISM is a public trust established in 2006 by SEBI, the regulator of the securities markets in India. The institute carries out a wide range of capacity building activities at various levels aimed at enhancing the quality standards in securities markets. Before ending the session, I would like to request the audience to note some important points. Number 1, questions will be taken at the end during Q&A segment. Number 2, all participants will receive participation certificate within 3 to 4 working days. Number 3, the recording of this session will be available on NASM's YouTube channel. Now I request Sir to begin with the session.
Thank you, Tanisha, and a very warm welcome to all the participants. It's a pleasure to be here and sharing my thoughts on how investors can safeguard their investments as well as their trading accounts from cyber criminals. So most of you might be aware of this topic, so I'll try to share some practical experiences and hopefully you find it interesting and useful. So what I plan to cover today is how the cyber threat landscape is changing, the advent of new technologies, and so many different things happening at a rapid pace. What are the most common cyber threats that investors should keep in mind? And then a glimpse into few examples of recent cybercrime incidents that have happened specifically with respect to stock market investing. And what are the safeguards that you need to understand? Why certain safeguards have been mandated by the regulator, and what are the benefits that you get by abiding by them. And then finally, we end the session with some key takeaways, followed by questions and answers. So let's jump right into it. So we all know technology is changing really rapidly. There is a lot of buzz around Gen AI. Even if you are not in the technology space, most of you have heard about Gen AI and the potential that it holds in terms of transforming how businesses function. Cyber security is no different, and then you also need to equally accept that whatever technology that we have access to, the cyber criminals have access to the same technology, without, of course, the borderline of ethics that we need to follow. So they, in a way, can derive more power from these technologies and use it to meet their nefarious ends. So what has happened in the last few years is that probably 5 or 7 years ago, there used to be some innocuous phishing mail that comes, and somebody used to just take away your username, password, and then just for the nuisance value. Now, what has changed is it has become much more organized because the motivation is financial gain. So nobody is really interested in spending resources. Whether it's a small time cyber criminal or earlier really organized crime syndicate. just for the just for doing it or just for making a name for themselves, the dark web. So they are all very motivated now, very clear that it has to result into an outcome. So they have started functioning like legitimate businesses, which offer so many different services. So you have got the very large organized crime syndicates, which have well established call centers, which have websites on the underground internet, which if you are a cyber criminal, you have access to, you can log into, and you can request for those kind of services, very similar to how we order something on urban clan. So very similarly they can say that I want a phishing as a service, and then they'll be given that for a fee, and then you can you start receiving those emails. Again, there are so many accounts that are available on the dark web, that with certain profiles. So again, Gen AI has made it very, very easy to create content which is customized to a certain individual. Because at the end of the day, these cyber crimes are basically targeting our human nature, right? So, and every human being is different, and you need to create targeted content for them. And that's what has become very, very easy with Gen AI, deep fakes, and all of you must have seen so many fake videos, coming out during Operation Sindoor, and that was, everybody was following that. Similarly, there are so many fake videos that get created for targeting gullible investors who are not so savvy with technology, especially senior citizens or people who are in their late 50s or late 60s. It becomes, they are generally an easy target for these cyber criminals. Another thing that AI has kind of given the power for these criminals is doing things at scale. So probably earlier they could target, say, a few hundred people every week. Now they can do a few thousand, and then just keep increasing it to a few lakh and a few million. So that's what AI has done, and then it's all the more important now as an investor to be very, very cautious and very, very careful about what we do online. So what are some of the common threats that typically impact investors? Many of you might be aware about this. I have a few examples on this. And if you have any questions on this, feel free to ask at the end of this talk. So something that has been there for a long time, trading account takeover. So, compromising an investor's username and password, and then gaining access to that account, and then trying to do, trying to buy or sell, or, artificially inflate stock prices. So all kinds of things are possible with the trading account takeover. And then we have something which has become more, you can say, popular in recent times, which is fake investment platforms and apps. And this again is something that's very easy to do with AI. So you can just, tell Chat GPT, create a website with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Chat GPT will write the code for you, it will bring up the website, and then you just do the minor modification. So you can create a website which is similar to, a popular stockbroker's website. And then anybody who wants to, log into that website, they get sent that link, and then they inadvertently share their, username and password there. Fake apps is a completely different area where, if you download these apps on your mobile, uh, everything at the back end is controlled by the attacker. And when you see the app, you feel that, you have made, significant amount of profit, but then all that is only there in that application. It's not really linked either to your broking, your, trading account or demat account, or to your bank account. So everything just is within that application. We'll talk about that. There is a real world incident that has happened using fake apps. Then disseminating false information. Again, this is giving false information on, mostly this works in the realm of small cap and mid cap stocks, wherein you can talk about certain new orders being received by them, or some positive news, negative news, and then trying to move the market in that direction. So essentially leading to some kind of stock price manipulation. And then we have the fraudulent investment schemes, which have been around for decades, and nothing new in that. The difference is they have started using online channels a lot. So they have much more access to investors, like you had those chit fund schemes, early on, long, long ago. But now, they have taken a different shape and size, and their reach has increased dramatically with channels like WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, right? And they basically, the idea is to make you believe that you put in 100 rupees and we'll give you 100x return or 500x return, and be very, very wary about those, because it's very difficult to get those kind of returns in the stock market. And I've been in capital markets for a long time, so it's very difficult to time the markets. You have to be extremely lucky. So I think these are all the various weaknesses that these fraudsters try to exploit. And then pump and dump schemes have been around a lot since a long time, except now, they have gone, they can easily be done at scale. So I'll talk about an incident that happened in Japan on, how people could easily inflate the stock prices of penny stocks and then, uh, dump them and then make a profit out of it. So those are the threats. The modus operandi of most of these attacks is very similar. So there is a scamster who is sitting right at the top, right? He is the orchestrator of the scam. And their whole idea is they need to start doing a lot of promotions. Like I said earlier, today it's very easy to do these promotions. You can use WhatsApp. So they create a WhatsApp group, they create a Facebook group, and then they invite potential victims and convince them to join that group. They start giving you investment advice, so you start believing that they are an investor, sorry, they are a proper investment advisor, and then you get hooked onto it, and then eventually they will start sending you links, and then they'll say open an account with us, and then they'll use these mechanisms. So once you open an account, then they will give you a set of bank accounts where you need to deposit your money, and then you start, you once you deposit that money, initially they will give you some kind of a return, but everything is in the app. Most of the time you cannot withdraw that money, right, because it's not linked to your bank account. So it's separate bank accounts that you deposit your money in, and it all works on their platform. Their platform is no way linked back to the stock exchanges trading platform. So basically, what they show you is an imaginary view that only exists for your particular portfolio or profile, and you get convinced that yes, now I've invested say 50,000, and it's been I can see that I've made a profit of 5 lakh rupees, and then you keep investing more and more, and then till you realize that okay, now I need to withdraw some money. The moment you go and try to withdraw some money, they'll ask for some more money to say that if you want to make a withdrawal, then you need to deposit some additional money, and that's where typically the investor becomes alert. But by that time, we have already lost quite a bit of your hard-earned money. So be very, very careful when interacting with these kind of fraudsters. So just because it's come on a WhatsApp and it's got an image of a well-known broking firm, does not mean that that WhatsApp account belongs to that broking firm or that particular investment firm. So very important that you contact them and don't respond to people who contact you. So that's a very simple and easy mechanism to avoid a lot of these frauds. Because when you call, let us say they belong to XYZ broking firm, you should go online, look at the number, call that XYZ firm. Instantly, you will know whether they have that offer or not. So it's much more easier to do it that way. So let's look at some, recent cybercrime incidents that have happened, targeting, investors. So first is fake IPO scheme. Now all these incidents that I'm going to talk about, these have happened over the last 3 to 4 months. They're not very old, and these are growing in, volume. Like I said, because of AI, because of the reach that these fraudsters have, because of WhatsApp, Telegram, and all these social media channels. it's very, very easy for them to target a host of investors. And, we refer to this technique as, spray and pray. So you spray those messages to lakhs of investors, and then, you hope that even if a few thousand of them respond, then, the fraudster is going to make money. So the way this happened was, um, there was a fake IPO scheme that was announced on WhatsApp. So, basically the fraudsters posed as an investment, advisor, and they said that, we will, if you invest, through us, then you will get say 400x return or 500x return. So they posed as representatives of some reputed trading firms, and they sent out WhatsApp join links to a lot of these victims. Once the victims joined the WhatsApp group, then of course for a few months they just gave them education content. What is investing, what is stock market investing, and how you should invest. And then they build that trust with the investor by disseminating this knowledge. Now, what these fraudsters also had is they had also built a fake trading app. So after a couple of months, what they did is they said, why don't you open a trading account with us? And then they sent this app's link to them. So it was an APK file, which was so when I say APK, what it means is that they just send a link, and there's a file that gets downloaded onto your mobile, whether it's Android or iOS, and you then that app gets installed, and then it functions like a normal app, any app that you might be using, right? Swiggy or Zomato on a daily basis. So you put in your personal details. Here, of course, you have to put in your bank account number and all that. And they will also have a normal KYC form to make it, look legit. So it can be as legit as it gets. So, just because the app is legit does not mean that the company is legit. So I think that's very, very important to understand. And then once you register, then they automatically start putting in certain numbers at the backend, because they control the backend. This app is not connected to the exchange, or there is no trading happening, right? You are not going to subscribe to any IPO. Everything is happening inside the app, inside their environment. And then this gentleman then transferred over the next 3 months. He made transfers to multiple bank accounts, for buying these various stocks. And then eventually, after a few months, close to 8 crores was transferred to various scammer accounts. And then he realized that, I only kept transferring money and I'm not able to withdraw something. So the moment he went to withdraw, then he realized that, there is nothing is happening. And by that time, all those WhatsApp accounts and all that had already been deleted. And that's when he reached out to the cybercrime police, and then this entire thing was unearthed. So I think key point here is these fake trading apps have become very, very prevalent in the market today. So do not download any app via a link, right? And always transact with SEBI registered brokers and SEBI registered investment advisors. So please make sure you check that. I have a slide on that. There is also a link that I've given on how you can check whether they are registered with SEBI or not. The second incident was basically, here again, it was an app, because it's very easy to fool the investor. But then this was just the app. There was a full modus operandi of, creating, giving the or let us say luring the investor by positioning themselves, as an investment advisor or a trading firm or a broker, and then going through the entire cycle of onboarding them. This was like, from the very looks of it, it was like a Ponzi scheme where they very clear. They just said that we will get more than 90% success rate, and we will use AI-driven algo trading for giving you those returns. So there was this Dhani Securities was the app that was set up, and then it was sent to the victim for installation. Again, similar to the earlier one, everything works in the scamsters environment. There is no real profit, and they just show what they want to show. So you will obviously see that if you have invested 5 lakh rupees, it has suddenly become 50 lakhs or 5 crore. So then over a period of time, as the investor invests their money, they realize that is a scam, right? And then uh, it's very easy to get uh, lured into these kind of scams. And so similarly, so the same way that you have a trading app, you can also have a fake website, right? So it might not be an app, but it will be a website, and then they will send you to the website, and then you will be asked to place some orders there, and then everything works inside the environment of the cyber criminal. So they have access to all these infrastructure. They have made those investments, and they can run multiple such websites and scam so many different people. So how will you find out whether it's a how do you find out if it's a fake website or a legit website? So I have a couple of slides on that, and I'll walk you through how in a very simple way you can figure out whether it's a fake website or a legit one. Now this is something that of course didn't happen in India, but I wanted to talk about it today just to give you an idea of the scale at which these things can happen. So, and this just happened a couple of months ago, right? And what happened was um, cyber criminals actually targeted a lot of trading accounts, right? So it was a targeted attack. So across multiple brokers, they went and compromised the username and password of investors with trading accounts, and in a very calculated way, they started placing trades on penny stocks. And the objective here was to drive up the price of these penny stocks. So you one set of accounts, they configured them as buyers, one set of accounts they configured them as sellers, and then gradually they increase the price of the penny stocks till the markets picked it up. And then once the market started trading at that level, then they dumped those stocks, and they made about 6,000 crores, and which is a significant value. And the challenge here is when all these investors, and we are talking about lakhs of investors here, because to drive up these stocks, and this they did on the international market, so it was not just in Japan. So they also bought stocks of Chinese companies. They also bought stocks of other international company. So it was a well thought out attack, cyber attack, with the objective of making a significant amount of money fraudulently. Now the challenge is when these investors went to the cybercrime police, they obviously went back to the brokers, and then the broking firm said that the attackers have actually compromised the username and password of investors, so there is nothing we can do about it. And then the investors went back to the broking firm that we need some kind of compensation. So it's a kind of a chaos now. So, and obviously now the regulator there has intervened, and they are trying to see how they can provide some kind of compensation to investors, but obviously it's not going to be what they to the extent that they have lost. Now one of the reasons why it's speculated that this happened or this was successful at this scale is because they didn't have multi-factor authentication enabled, for their logins. Now, fortunately, in India, SEBI has mandated multi-factor authentication long time ago. It's more than 10 years ago that they mandated multi-factor. So this serves as a credible deterrent against these kind of attacks. So that's one of the key takeaways. Now, obviously, in hindsight, the broking firms in Japan are now exploring, whether they should make multi-factor mandatory, and that's an ongoing conversation that is currently happening there. So now let's come to the safeguards. So we saw, how attackers are targeting various investors, via fake schemes or by trying to gain unauthorized access to their trading accounts. So what are the safeguards that you need to understand so that you don't fall a prey to, these kind of, attempts by these, malicious actors? So first and foremost is multi-factor, which we spoke about. So everybody understands multi-factor. So first factor is your password. So you have a username and password for logging into your trading account. And then once your password authentication is successful, after that you are prompted for a OTP. So that OTP is your multi-factor authentication. Now, why is this such a big deterrent? So let's understand how an attacker tries to gain access to your password. So largely there are three ways in which your password can be compromised. So one is if there is some kind of keylogger that is running on your system. So whenever you type the password, the keystrokes are captured and the password is reconstructed. So that is one way. And the most popular way of getting these passwords in this particular, using this particular mechanism is when you try to log into your trading accounts using systems which are there in the cyber cafe or in public areas. Now, the simple you can say mitigation for this risk is that do not log into your trading account or banking account from systems that don't belong to you. So use your laptop at home, use your home system. If you are outside, use your mobile, but don't use the shared systems that are available in the hotels or in the cyber cafes. So they are generally there will be some kind of malware on that. So this simple practice will make sure that your password is not compromised. So this is one way of getting your password. The second way is to send a phishing link. So you click on that, basically they profile you. So let us say that you like old film music. So then they will send you a link saying that there are these old film vinyl records that are available from the 70s or 60s, and then you will be kind of eager to click on that. You will not be, it will be irresistible. So they make it irresistible, and then you click on it. Once you click on it, either there is a malware that gets downloaded onto your system, or that can be a simple keylogger. Now, if that keylogger is there on your system, then same as any shared system, it can start capturing all your keystrokes. So simple rule here is do not click on any of these links. Does not doesn't matter how enticing it is. Even if you are getting something for free, there is nothing for free. So obviously there is some nefarious agenda behind sending that link to you. So that's the second way in which you can give away your password. The third way is what we refer to as setting up a fake website. So let us say that you are trading with ABC brokers, right? And then ABC brokers will have abcbroking.com. And when you visit the website, you'll obviously log in. So here what happens is the attacker puts up a fake website, and then there are various ways again to entice you to log into that fake website. The moment you log into that fake website, you give away your username and password. So now once the attacker has got your password, right, he has now access to your account. So how do you kind of mitigate this risk? So even before multi-factor authentication, there is something called as password policy, which many of you might think is a nuisance, right? So probably after every 2 or 3 months, depending on the policy that has been set by your broker, you might be wondering why they make you change that password. The reason is if for whatever reason you had to log in from some other system, or you were forced to do that, and in any way your password was compromised, the attacker will not have the password with him forever. So then whenever you change the password, the attacker loses access. So then he has to go through all the trouble again for trying to compromise your password. So that's why password policy is very important. whatever the frequency, it's important that you change it. Now, assume that passwords are compromised because you can't be alert at all the times. As human beings, we give in to some kind of greed, and that's what AI is really good at doing today. So they will exactly profile you based on your Facebook post, Instagram, your overall post that you do, and then they will send you something that you really like doing, and then it's very difficult to resist clicking on it. So at some point in time, your password is going to be compromised. That's the assumption that you have to work with, and that's where multi-factor authentication comes in. So even if your password is compromised, the attacker does not have your OTP, so there is no way that they can log in. So this becomes a very good control in order to prevent or the impact of password theft. Again, the OTP is only valid for a small amount of time. So assume that there are so many other ways in which the OTP can be compromised, but that's not the subject of today's discussion. But the point is, it's extremely difficult to do that because A, it's only valid for a very small amount of time, and B, once you use it, you cannot use it again. So that's why it's such a powerful mechanism to protect your trading account. Now, earlier we had only our laptops and desktops where you used to receive these links on email and then you used to click on it and something used to get installed. Now we have so many other channels, so people are pretty busy browsing on their phones and they hardly remember what they clicked on. Somebody posing as a friend sent something and you clicked on that. So, but whenever it comes to especially something to do with financial investment, please make sure that you don't click on any of these things. It's easier said than done, but I think it's very very important to do it to the extent you can, because you don't know which link will take you to some fake website, or will download something onto your mobile. Now, like I said earlier, how do you know before you log into a particular website, your trading website or any of the websites, that whether it's genuine or not? So very simple check, right? So I've just taken the example of HDFC Sec here, right? So you go to any website and you see this icon here towards the left, right? You click on that. And then you can see that the connection is secure. A good part about um, today's browsers, especially whether it is Chrome or any of those, Firefox or even Microsoft, if it is not HTTPS, then they will clearly say that the connection is not secure. So first check is the connection has to be secure. Now you might be wondering why the attacker might not make it secure. So generally they make it secure, but then it's an additional work for them. And when they are dealing with such a volume, many a times they don't look at this minor detail. And you can easily detect whether because none of the trading websites will have an insecure connection. It has to be secure, right? So now, if the connection is secured, how do you know that it is HDFC Securities or whoever is the broker that they are claiming to be? So then you click on this thing below here where you say certificate is valid, right? Once you click on that, you'll see something like this. So there's a lot of stuff here. You just need to focus on two things. Common name has to be the name of the organization, right? So in this case, it's hdfcsec.com. And the expiry has to be, after today's date. Like for example, today we are sitting in June and it expires in August. So it can't be an expired certificate. If it's an expired certificate, something is seriously wrong. So these are the two things you need to just see to make sure that, before you, let us say you clicked on some link, somebody sent you a link and you clicked on it. How do you know that it belongs to that ABC broker.com? These are the two checks that you need to do. Very simple, takes less than 2 minutes to do it. And, very, very useful in making sure that you don't inadvertently give your information out. And today, anyway, people are after PII. One is, of course, your trading account credentials, but at the same time, today attackers are also after your personally identifiable information. So, they might ask you for your KYC information, which happens quite frequently, right? So don't send out your, your Aadhaar or a PAN card and, that kind of information. Okay. So very easy, very simple. Check. Similarly, don't download mobile apps based on links. So even if somebody asks you to download, you go on the App Store and check. Because when you go on the App Store, you can actually see who has developed that particular app. And if it is not by that provider, immediately you will know that this is not a valid app. Also, Google on their App Store does a lot of screening of apps, and they periodically remove malicious apps. So it's very difficult for the malicious apps to be there for a long time. So I think bottom line is unknown links are bad. So before clicking on any unknown link, think 100 times, and only if it is absolutely necessary, then click on it. Whether you are on your laptop or you are on your mobile. Then we come to the safeguard that SEBI has given you, wherein if somebody approaches you as an investment advisor, how can you be sure that he's who they claim to be, right? So I've given this link over here. You can just click on that link. I will take you to the page, and you can just type in the name of that particular investment advisor. Immediately you will know, and this thing is updated on a daily basis, right? So SEBI has given you this facility where you can just go online and check. So before dealing with any investment advisor, make sure that they are registered. Also, very important that if somebody comes and says, we'll give you 500x return on this IPO, you cannot invest in IPO and stocks without having a trading and a demat account, right? There's no such provision in India. So you need to have a trading account, you need to have a demat account. Only then you can invest in IPOs and buy stocks. So, you can always ask these questions to that so-called investment advisor, and initially itself you can identify that whether he's fraudulent or genuine. Okay. So awareness is key, right? Like I always keep saying, you might, because what you need to understand is that you cannot not understand the pitfalls of technology, because today the trading ecosystem or the securities market is highly technology enabled, right? So there is no physical trading possible. You have to go online and trade, right? All you have to trade via a broker. So considering that, it's very important to be aware of what is happening, in terms of scams. So what are the potential scams that are happening? And there are a lot of news articles that come today, or there is a lot of information that is also issued by the cybercrime various cybercrime divisions. So they send out periodic advisories. So stay informed on them, because these tactics and techniques by attackers keep changing, and it's very important to stay up to date. Be very cautious and alert. I think that's very, very important. Like I said earlier, don't click on any unknown links. Also, if somebody is asking you to deposit money in multiple bank accounts as an investment advisor, I think it's a red flag. So generally, there will be one bank account that they will have where you will need to deposit the money, or you have to do an F. Multiple bank accounts should be questioned. So that's again another indicator that something is amiss. Because if they ask you to do small amounts, then it's a problem. Because what do they do with that? So we refer to them as mule accounts, right? Which means that they find a lot of these people with bank accounts where fraudulently, using different KYC mechanism, those accounts are created. And when you deposit the money in those accounts, immediately the cash is withdrawn from ATMs. And that's why we refer to them as mules. So those mules withdraw the, so let us say you transfer 1 lakh into 5 accounts. So instantly that 1 lakh will be withdrawn. The person in whose name that account is, they will get some part of the money, a percentage, and then the fraudster gets the remaining. So again, that's a very clear indicator that there is something seriously wrong, in terms of this overall mechanism. Then, like I said, secure personal data. If somebody is asking for KYC, information. So it happened to actually a friend of mine not too long ago, just I think a month ago, where suddenly somebody called him, sent a link, said, your KYC has expired. They got an SMS actually, and with the name of the broker and all. So obviously that is not a big deal, right? So you can get the SMS with anybody's name, similar to how you can get an email with anybody's name. So, and probably I'll spend a minute on the email part as well. But I think coming back to this, so you got a SMS, and then you had to click on the link, and then it took you to a website where you have to submit your KYC information. One look at the website, so he sent me the screenshot. One look at the website, and you could make out it was fraudulent. Nothing to do with that, the real KYC. Now, coming to the email part, similar to how you see, your WhatsApp messages. So anybody can put any photo, right? So I can change my WhatsApp DP to, let us say, abcsecurities.com, or let us say ABC Securities. That does not mean I become ABC Securities. Similarly, for your email, there is something called as a display name, and then there is something called as a sender address. So whenever you get any communication, from your bank or from your, broker, make sure that you go and also open the email and click on that sender, address. Don't just rely on the display name, because display name can be different and the sender email can be different. Many times you'll be surprised that it is some, Lucy at something else, xyzabc.com. So immediately you will know that it's a fake email. And then last but not the least, do not give away your sensitive information, because these KYC scams are also now going on a lot. Because especially now, since we have the DPDP Act coming in, people are very, conscious about personally identifiable information, or PII, and it's very, very important to protect it. Which brings me to the last slide of today's webinar before we, open it up for Q&A. So everything is digitally enabled today, not just the stock market, but pretty much entertainment also is OTT, right? So everything is digital. Everything, most of the things use the internet. So you cannot have a situation where you are not aware of what are the risks of using technology. So very important to understand the risks of technology, because while technology gives you a lot of benefits and convenience, it also introduces its own share of risks. So if you are a little bit, even a little bit more conscious of how you interact, with the various technology elements, then it's very easy to securely do transactions and get the benefits of this technology revolution that we are all part of. So we need to understand that scammers have equal access to latest technologies such as AI, and they are going to use it to make things more and more difficult for the investor. So they will create stuff, or they will create, let us say, fake videos, or they'll create, fake narratives that will challenge an investor. And then he really needs to, he or she really needs to be diligent. Fortunately or unfortunately, like we say, social media gives a lot of insights into your personal choices, which was not there a few years ago. Now, these personal choices automatically enable the attackers to create targeted narratives, which will be difficult for an individual to resist. and then they fall prey to that. So the solution is continuous awareness and due diligence, and not clicking on anything that is unsolicited or something that you didn't ask for. It comes and lands in your inbox or in your WhatsApp. Make sure that you double check it and don't just click on it. And finally, a really good mantra that I want to leave you with for staying safe and secure: never trust, always verify. you know Nothing is as it seems, right? So there's always more to it. So stay safe, and thank you so much for your time. And I'll now look at if there are some questions, then happy to answer them. So I think there are a lot of questions on the certificate, which I think Tanisha will probably, she's already addressed at the beginning of the session. How to identify investor or advisor is real or fake? I think easiest way is just use the link that I've given. Go to SEBI's website and just check. So if it's not a SEBI registered, investment advisor, then I think you should just ignore that.
So I think the last two questions I'll just summarize quickly. So how do we stay safe from cyber criminals? So essentially, I think three things, like I said earlier. One is don't log in using an admin username and password on that particular laptop or desktop or the system from which you are placing your trades. Secondly, use multi-factor authentication. Use a strong password. Keep changing the password regularly. Do not visit any malicious in the sense, uncommon websites, because you don't know whether they're malicious or not, unless you have some other controls in your organization which categorize websites as malicious. Use a good antivirus on the endpoint. So that itself will, ensure that there is no malware or ransomware targeting your endpoint. Antivirus needs to be updated. Just installing the antivirus is not going to solve the problem. It's not like fill it, set it, forget it. You make sure every day, like how you look at do your market research. You also make sure that you check whether the antivirus is updated or not. Presently, Airtel and Jio are claiming they have a cyber identification. Yeah, so I saw the ad also from Airtel and Jio. And I think this just answers the question which I just mentioned, right? So like, how do you know that certain things are malicious or not? So there are solutions which help you screen malicious links based on, a certain reputation. So like how you have, a reputation for a certain person, there is also a reputation for websites. And they have these reputation filters which make sure that you are only able to access websites of a certain reputation, and then below that it's not allowed. It is not see, there is no security control or cyber security control that will give you 100% guarantee, but this will definitely help you take steps in that direction, right? So if you don't have anything in your organization, this is a good to have thing. So if you are an individual investor and you are accessing from, you are having your own internet, then this definitely will help you, security posture. How could we know after sending amount to some advisor, amount is out from ATM? I think you cannot know that because that bank account belongs to, some third person. I think, like I said, it's important, don't transfer money to different bank accounts. Generally, if it's a accredited investor, they will generally ask you to only transfer money to one single account, because that will be the company account. And it has to be the company account. It can't be some individual's account. It has to be that same company's account. If it is ABC investors, it has to be ABC investors account. Normally, in this case, they will give you some other XYZ LLP or something else. So that itself should set off the triggers. Is it advisable to use public Wi-Fi networks when outside the home? You can use public Wi-Fi network. There is nothing wrong, but you need to make sure that that the HTTPS thing is something that you check. So what is the risk of using public Wi-Fi? There is something called as man-in-the-middle attacks that can happen. So there is an unauthorized person. Let us say you are sitting in you are working out of a hotel, and there is an unauthorized person who is intercepting your traffic. Now, whenever they try to intercept your traffic, they have to send you a certificate. That's why you need to check the certificate. So in that case, you can immediately make out that this certificate does not belong to abcbrokers.com. It belongs to the attacker. Second thing is always try to use your own mobile and the app on your mobile. So that's very difficult to do a man in the middle for that, because it will automatically not log in. So that's much more secure when it comes to a public environment, as opposed to your laptop if you are not very tech savvy. Yeah, so don't. So I think this question is interesting. Even those who are advising for not to share OTPs, not to click links, do the same in practical life. For example, bank personnel are asking to click on the link that they are sharing. So you should avoid that, because the easiest way is, and this happened to me as well. So I wanted to block a credit. I don't exactly remember what it was, but then when I called the bank, right, they said we'll call you back. And then after a couple of days, I received a call, and then they sent me a link, and I refused to click on that link. So it's easier to go online onto the net banking website or whatever and do the transaction yourself rather than trying to click on that link, especially if somebody is calling you and sending you the link. There is no way you can make out that they're calling from the bank or not. So you should call them and then you should do the transaction. Okay, I think we are more or less at the end. I think the more or less at the end of the session. So thank you again, and over to you, Tanisha.
So I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks for taking the time to speak at our webinar. Your insights, expertise, and engaging presentation made a lasting impact on our audience. Thank you once again for sharing your time and knowledge with us. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanisha. And once again, a big thank you to all the participants. It was a pleasure speaking with all of you. And a big thank you to the NISM team for organizing this. It was a pleasure talking to you all. And I hope you have some key takeaways from this and are able to do your investment in a secure manner. Before I end the talk, NISM and CRISIL, has started this program on ESG, environment, social, and governance. And this is a new program. So please feel free to, subscribe to this or be a part of this. Thank you so much.